What's going on, guys? This is Mike with the 1% Mindset Podcast, man. I'm extremely excited. I have a guest here. I actually went to school with him. My guy said, Remy, how are you doing, good sir?
Man, I'm doing amazing, brother. I'm doing amazing. Thank you very much for letting me on your podcast, bro. I've been following you and I'm like, man, now I'm here.
Nah, man. I only have people on the podcast that are doing amazing work, people who aspire, who motivate. So man, I'm a big fan. More than anything else, I'm a huge fan. So
Appreciate that.
For those who don't know you, I want to give you a second to just do a brief introduction, of who you are, and then just really dive into your journey, because one of the things that I've been impressed with, and we'll speak about, is just your journey of who you were to who you've become now, the awards you've won and stuff like that. So just give a brief intro of who you are.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, my name is Cedric Remy. Let me see. I was born in Haiti, came to America at the age of 3. Parents worked hard for us to get here, and it's been a blessing, man. Like, we're gonna talk more about it when throughout the podcast, my journey, but just always been a hard worker, man. Always been aiming for, that opportunity to be great and be successful, and having the right people in the mind and with me help me get there, and trying to change that mindset from how I grew up to how I am now and how I'm raising my kids, and just working hard all the time, man. Like yeah, we're gonna get into it in a minute, but yeah. I'm just very hardworking, motivated, man, and a full-time firefighter, entrepreneur, full-time entrepreneur as well too. I got 2 beautiful kids, beautiful wife, and just trying to get on that level to make sure that they don't have to struggle how my parents struggle. And yeah, man, that's a little bit about me, man. So once we get into it, man, they'll get know a little bit more about my lifestyle.
Yeah, I love it. So we met at the University of South Florida.
Yes,
You were
sir.
a part
Home of the
of,
Bulls.
yes, you're a part of the Do or Die Zeta Xi chapter, right? Of Phi Beta Sigma.
Yes,
So,
sir.
we, and me being an iota. So, a lot of the interactions, a lot of, our interactions, whether it was, party walking, whether it was parties, whether, step shows, whatever that looked like. So you went from there, and what did you graduate? What did you graduate as far as your degree?
Criminal justice.
Criminal justice. Okay.
It was criminal justice. I was actually doing corrections while I was at USF too.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, a lot of people didn't know that, man. I was doing everything, man. I was late night, from 11 to like 7 in the morning. I was at the correction facility working. Then when I left there, went home for like an hour or 2, went to sleep, then started my classes at around 9, 10 o'clock, 11. Then had to try to be on campus as much as possible, doing the frat thing and doing a lifestyle. Then yeah, man, it was, and still managing the credits and making good grades at the same time, because yeah, I wasn't like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Their parents paid for everything, their housing, their this or that. No, like if I wanted to go to college, I was supposed to take care of my apartment, take care of my loans, take care of this, that. So I had to grind. I had to really grind in order to be in college. So I had the opportunity like other people had where they didn't have to work. So I had to work, and study sessions at late night and trying to be at parties, trying to balance the lifestyle of enjoying college life and working, trying to pay the bills while I'm in college. So yeah, man, that was the beginning of it, man.
Yeah, that's interesting. A lot of, well, I didn't know that. I'm not sure how many people within your close, probably your close circle, knew that. But every time, we interacted, or so, you never complained. You always had a smile on your face. Like, what was that pressure like, doing that? Because I couldn't imagine, the only time I was up, from 11 to 7 is if I was out at a party, or maybe I had like 1 or 2 all-nighters ever throughout college. It seemed like that was like your lifestyle. That's what you did. Like, how were you able to, what was it like as, being in your 20s, like just doing that? Or is that something that you always had ingrained in you? Like, what was that like? Because that lifestyle isn't for everyone.
Correct. that is something I had always ingrained in me, because my dad, he bust his butt. He came into America, trying to find a better life for us. So he was a pilot and he served in the military in Haiti. So when he came here, his credentials didn't match what the Florida was looking for. So he couldn't do it. So in order to feed his family, he had to find an under-table job, a cook at a Chinese restaurant, trying to make a living for us, trying to get us somewhere. So we got here, we was living paycheck to paycheck, and his grind mentality, he has to go do newspaper in the morning, then go to the Chinese restaurant, just trying to put food on the table for us, man. Like that right there, I love my dad, man. He is the reason why I grind hard the way I grind. So him doing all that made me realize, like, okay, this is work. This is what it's supposed to be. So when I go out there and work, I'm like, this is just the norm. This is the norm. So I'll go out there, work, do my college stuff, do my this and that. But in my mindset, that's how it's supposed to be in life. You have to like work. You have to bust your butt. If you want to have a little fun, you can do that too, but work comes first. So I used to be at all the parties at USF.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? All of them. I used to tell my job, but I worked at 11 to 7. I used to tell my job, hey, I'm going to come in and a little later, have this and that. And they understood everything. They always looked out for me. I'd be at work at 1 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock in the morning. So I made everything happen because of that mindset that I was having. I didn't complain. I was enjoying it because in my mind, this is normal. You know what I'm saying? Another person doing that, barely getting any sleep, got to go to class the next day. They complain all day long and give up.
Absolutely.
But my mindset was, no, this is what it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? So, piggyback off my dad, man, he's a big part of my accomplishments. Big part. He bust his butt for us to get there. So growing up, we didn't have much at all. You know what I'm saying? We was living paycheck to paycheck, because that's what the norm was for, the Haitian population. You know what I'm saying? We live in paycheck to paycheck. So growing up, that's all I thought, like, okay, I have to live paycheck to paycheck. If we want a little extra, then I have to work a second, third job. So in my mind, I'm like, I have to work 2 to 3 jobs in order to provide for my family. So growing up, that's all I knew. That's all I knew. But then I was thinking, like, this ain't right. I don't want my family when I have a family, I don't want to be struggling like this. I never knew about family vacations growing up. Never at all. Never been on family vacation, nothing. We never been out of state of Florida growing up, because we live in that paycheck to paycheck. If something happens, we take a trip or do this and that, now we're not going to be able to pay our bills. Okay. So we was limited of what we can spend. And when I got in trouble at school, if I had a fight or whatever, and if my dad had to come and pick me up, I got the worst whooping in the world. Okay. The reason is I'm taking that hour or two away from his job. Now he gets paid less. So when he beat my behind, it wasn't because I had a fight. It's because I took him away from work. And now he has to go to work and work overtime and do all this extra stuff just to make ends meet. So now growing up, I'm thinking, I'm going to beat this. I'm going to beat this. So I say, I'm going to have 2 or 3 jobs. If I have 2 or 3 jobs, I got this. All right. I have this. So I'm going to figure it out. My dad had one and a half job. I'm going to have 3 jobs. I'm going to be rich. I'm going to be successful. So I did corrections. I was a coach at a park rec. I was a security at nighttime, just to make everything work so I can beat the system, be rich and comfortable. Nah. The most I made doing all 3 of those jobs, let's say about $58,000, close to 60, doing all 3 jobs. For a normal person, that's perfect. That's like, oh yes, that's great. But my mindset, where I wanted to go in life, that was enough. That was not enough. Okay. And this is how it started for me. This is how I started my journey, because I wanted to get in a position where my kids don't have to struggle. My kids' school are paid for by the time they go to college. The biggest thing is my retirement. And the population I work now, dealing with elderlies, there's a lot just on Social Security, living off $800, $1,200, $1,500. And that's it. That's it. Now I'm to the position where I can invest my money. And then when I turn to that certain age, I have a whole lot of money, go on vacation, just relax. Man, sorry, man. I went off topic, man. You asked me a certain question.
No. This is good, man. And this is real, right? Because I love that, because there's a level of authenticity that's there, because you've gone through the ringer. Like, you had to do that. Yeah, I was watching, I don't remember what I was watching, and someone said, my mom worked 2 jobs. I think it was like an Earn Your Leisure podcast or something. He said, my mom worked 2 jobs, and he said, it's interesting because I never met anyone who worked 2 and 3 jobs that didn't still live paycheck to paycheck, right? It's not like you add more jobs and all of a sudden you're rich. It's like, no, you're still in the same like grind, the same struggle, right? So, it's interesting. So I want to ask, because you spoke about the impact, and again, we'll get more deep into some of the stuff you're doing, but family is important, right? And obviously you speak highly of your dad. Now, obviously you have a son and a beautiful daughter. What are you instilling or trying to instill in them, taking some of the principles from your dad, obviously, right? And I'm sure your intention isn't for them to work 2 and 3 jobs, right? Which is why you're doing what you're doing now, but taking some of those same principles of working hard. But how are you instilling like your flavor to that with them?
Man, it's funny that you say that, brother, because I have a 16-year-old son, right? I try to teach him the value of money. He doesn't need to work at all. He doesn't. He's in high school right now. He doesn't need to work. But when I was 13 years old, I was working. So I had to ask my parents for money. So, when I was in high school and stuff like that, I can use my money for this and that, buy things that I need in high school because if I ask my parents, hey, I need this, they're going to have to work overtime. They're going to have to go out their way just to give me a certain money so I can pay for football and everything else. So I say, you know what? I'm going to work this. I'm going to work a job so I don't have to ask them nothing, right? Mm-hmm. So my son, he has everything in the world. He has a car waiting for him in the yard, everything else. He has everything he needs, right? But I'm trying to show him the value of money and hard work. So I have him, do some things for me for my insurance business, do this and that. But now he has a job. So he doesn't need it. But I want him to see the value of work. So he's working. He's like, man, you got to do all this. I'm going to get paid $10 an hour. He's like, his paycheck is like 160, 200. He's like, oh my gosh, I work all these hours. So now, but he knows like how much I make. He's like, Dad, how am I ever going to get to 6 figures? And I'm only getting paid $120 a week, every 2 weeks. Then he sees what I do on a regular basis. He sees it. So then he realized, one day he said, you know what? I'm going to go to all the neighbors and see if they want their yard cut. I'm going to go to all the neighbors and see if they need help with this and that. So he went out. He went to this neighbor house. He cut the grass for about 35 minutes, made $25. Sorry about that. The phone was coming in. I'm in? I'm back?
Yeah. You're back. You're good.
So he did that. So he cut the neighbor grass. It was about 30 minutes, 45 minutes. Got $25 less than 1 hour. That's double than what he makes at his job. Mm-hmm. He started writing goals down. Casey, Daddy writes goals down every month. Mm-hmm. He posted on his ceiling so he can try to reach those goals. It's nothing I force. It's nothing I force him to do. It's just my actions on a regular base. Every month for the insurance business, I'm always trying to be on top, trying to be the number one. So I write goals down. He said, why you write goals down? Because this is where I want to get to, son. He's like, okay. So I never forced anything into him. I always tell him, hey, so me and my family, we'll sit down every year and write goals of what we want to do, where you want to be at for sports, where you want to be at for high school, where you want to do this and that. So we sit down and do all this just so I can teach them a little bit, because I didn't have this growing up at all. Me writing goals down, man, I thought that was I'm like, whatever. That doesn't make sense. me listen to podcasts, me listen to motivational stuff. I'm like, man, these guys are getting paid just to say, you can do it. You can do it. Man, I didn't believe in none of that, man. So back to what you're saying for my family, my son, my family, my daughter, everybody seeing what I'm doing. It's showing, and it's showing little by little in their daily life. Okay. My daughter, she's in gymnastics. She's doing flips. She's doing this. She's doing that. So I'm training with her. You know, we doing a little dance and stuff here and there. And man, she wears me out. So I'm like, oh, okay, daddy gonna cheer for her. She's like, no, daddy, no. In cheering, you have to go the whole time. You can't give up. You have to go. So get up, daddy. I looked at her like, okay, my bad. Okay, so I get up, start working with her. So I'm seeing what I've learned from my dad, and what I'm trying to break the cycles. I'm trying to break the cycle that I had growing up. We didn't have much, but we had to make it work. Seeing that struggle made me better and stronger. So when I'm out there doing 3 or 4 jobs, it's nothing. When I'm out there grinding for 12 hours, knocking on people's door, doing interviews, doing this and that, it's nothing, because I didn't have that growing up. Now I'm feeding for my family. I'm getting to the point where they don't have to struggle. Everybody's good. We live in a lifestyle we want to. We go on 3 or 4 vacations a year just to enjoy life and get it to the part where we need to get to. And yeah, so that's how it affects my son, my family, is them seeing my actions, and my actions came from my dad. And the grind constantly is real. It's real. So I hope I answered that question. So
no, absolutely. So let's kind of get into your first job, right? Because full to your entrepreneurship space. Yeah. So you are an insurance agent at Lincoln Heritage, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So and this is really like where I said, man, Seth is killing it right now. So kind of tell me how you kind of got into that journey. And my assumption, and you can let me know if I'm wrong, is because of that journey and the goals you had, that really kind of sparked the personal development and getting better, the goals and stuff like that. Like, how did that journey come about?
So the way this journey came about, me and my son and my girlfriend at that time, we were staying in Orlando. I got hired with the fire department in Orlando. And but I was like, man, this is not enough money. My mind was like, I was working another job. I was doing part-time job, doing some EMS job at like car search and stuff like that. It was only paying $12 an hour, and I was doing it. So to me, it wasn't enough. Mm-hmm. So I was always out there trying to find what it is, like what other people are doing to get to this level. Why people just chilling in the golf course chilling in the golf course, playing golf throughout the day and making money on their phone? Like, what they doing? Like, what am I doing wrong? I'm working a full-time fire job. I'm working a part-time job. I should be rich. So I'm like, I used to get so frustrated because I wasn't at where everybody else, where the other 1% was at. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't there where these other people was at. So like I said, I was always trying to find something. So me and my girlfriend at that time, which is my wife now, we was in a pool relaxing at a neighborhood pool. And this lady was like, she was swimming. She was like, hey, what you guys do? She was starting conversation. And she was like, okay, that's great. She like, how would you guys feel about making $400 to $500 a day at home, doing some things over the phone, and that's it. I'm like, that sounds amazing. I'm like, that's a lot of money. So then she's like, yeah, that's what I do. I'm like, okay. So she sent me the information. It sounded a little sketchy to me at first. I'm like, So I called my cousin up, Patrick Paul. He's the regional director in Miami for Lincoln Heritage. So he was always a smart one in the family. So I called him up. I'm like, hey, Pat, this lady brought this business to me, and can you check it out for me? Let me know. So he said, all right. He checked it out, called me like an hour or two later. He said, that's a Ponzi scheme. I'm like, oh. He said, don't get involved in that. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay. Then I started thinking, the lady, she stayed in an apartment in the same apartment as us. I'm thinking in my head, she's making $400 or $500. How is she doing that? She stays in that regular apartment that we stayed in. So then I'm thinking, it started making sense. Like, okay, yeah, it's not real. Okay, if you're making $400 or $500 a day, you should be staying in something in a house. Okay, so
yeah.
So then I told him, I was like, man, okay. I said, Pat, I'm really trying to find something to get into to be successful and feed my family the way I want to. It was like, I work in the insurance business. Where I'm like, yeah, I heard about it. My cousin, he never bragged about him being a millionaire, having a big old agency. I didn't know nothing about him. I just knew he did insurance. So I'm like, all right. He said, yeah, I do insurance and it pays pretty good. You should try it out. I'm thinking in my head, man, I did corrections, firefighter, me being an insurance agent. Nah. So then I'm like, I said, you know what? I'll try it out. I test the water here and there. But my mindset growing up that was instilled in me was like, entrepreneur life is a negative. It's a negative because you're not going to get that consistent money that comes in like a 9-to-5.
Yeah, the security.
The entrepreneur life, it's, oh my gosh, if I don't make money here today, there, I'm not going to have nothing. So my mindset was always no, don't do it. Okay. You're going to fail. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get unmotivated when you don't make sales. You're going this and that. All that was in my head. But what really helped me out, because I had the fire job. So I'm like, okay, if that fails, I'm still getting that consistent money. I'll be okay. So I tried it out. And he told me, how much you want to make? I said, you know what? If I can make, remember my mindset is small back then. If I can make, the average I make now is what, 1,500, this and that. I make about, 3,000 now. If I can make an extra 2,000, I'll be perfect a month. If I can make 2 more thousand, 5,000 total a month, I'll be perfect. He said, that's it? I'm like, yeah. So then he said, how you feel sitting in front of somebody 45 minutes to an hour and have $700 in your bank account that same day? I said, what? He said, yeah, that's an entrepreneur life. You dictate how much you make. I'm like, nah, that's not true. So we did some training. He said, all right, I'm going to set you up with such and such. I'm going to have you go see one of my guys, have you ride along with him so you can figure out how everything works. I'm like, okay, that sounds okay. I said, but I don't want to do that. You just taught me everything I need to know to go out there and make money. If I go waste my time with him, then I'm going to be missing out on making money myself. He was like, oh, you think you're ready? I said, yeah, let me get it. So I went out there and I did my thing. I got a lot of no's. In this business, we have opportunity where you get in front of people. You know what I'm saying? So I was getting no's all day. Next day, got no's. Then the next day, the third day, sat with the family. I had $750 in my bank account that next day. And I said, whoa, hold up. What? I called him, I said, hey, I got something. He's like, yeah, you closed the deal. You did your thing. I'm like, so if I just go see a person like this on a regular, get my nose, but get those couple yeses, I can make all this in my account. You know how much it takes for me to get $700? How many days that is? It's a lot. On a regular, 9 to 5, you have to work a lot of days. But if I can get 3 to 5 people in one day, man, I'm over $1,000 something. So that motivated me big time. For me to be driving in my car, sitting in somebody's AC and just educating them about life insurance, and I get paid for it. I did corrections. I did coaching. I was in the sun doing all these type of stuff, working 3 or 4 jobs. And I get to chill in my car and chill in somebody's AC on my time. I structured out my schedule the way I want to do it. That was a no-brainer right there. That was it made me hit, my mindset was blown. That people out there making money like this, that's easy. To me, I say it's easy because I've been through worse. You know what I'm saying? The jobs I'm doing, like training process, this and that. This, I'm just talking to people, just having regular conversations. That right there made me blow up. I say, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do this. If I can do this, I'm going to get every month. People don't realize this. I'm always a top guy. I'm always, averaging 35 to 45 clients a month, right? Educating them and getting them insured. Everybody, oh my gosh, you're great. But they don't know about the 60 no's I got that month. 60 no's, but I closed 40 people. Some people, that the reason why entrepreneurs hard for them, those 60 no's discourage them so bad that they leave. Oh, this don't work. This don't work at all.
So let's dive into that a little bit, because you said the first 2 days you got a bunch of no's, right? And yes, you went from a 9 to 5 mindset to immediately kind of switching. So those first 2 days, like, what kept pushing you? Because it's not normal, I should say, because when you get no's, it can hurt. If you don't have the mental capacity to take it, it's like, this doesn't work. What kept you going even for that third day? Like, what was that for you?
What kept me going was my cousin. He started this, and now he's a millionaire. There's other people in the agency that, they're under him and stuff like that, and they're making about 6 figures every month. So I looked at it like, if they can do it, why can't I do it? Like, what's different between them and me? They just regular average people, and they just out there making over 6 figures. So that right there pushed me, because I never made 6 figures a day in my life, ever. So I say, you know what? If this job won't get me there, I'm gonna keep going. Yeah, those no's, it had all thoughts pop in my head. This don't work. This is a scam. This. Man, these people, they just whatever. But my mindset was like, let me make this work. Because when you're sick and tired of being sick and tired of stuff, you're sick and tired of not progressing. You're sick and tired of not making a certain income. You're sick and tired of seeing other people being successful. That right there motivates you so hard. Because if you work so hard, I work 3 jobs. If I'm working so hard, busting my butt, why can't I be successful? Why can't I be successful? It's because my generation. It's because my dad wasn't making 6 figures. Is it that? So I had to prove myself. I had to prove myself so hard that I can be successful. If they can be successful, I definitely can be successful. I have the work ethics for it. I will grind harder than anybody else out there. I'll leave the fire station this morning, and I'll be working from 8 to all the way 6 p.m. at night, coming from a fire station, working there 24 hours already. So that's my drive, because I want to get my family to a certain income. And I want to get it there and make sure that everything is taken care of. My son and my daughter could look at me like, man, my dad worked hard. And that's how I look at my dad. So that right there is how I got to that mindset.
Okay, so you're an agent, you have some success. Day 3, you start, you make this money. Now you've progressed, a lot since then. And when did you start? How long? When did you start this journey? How many years ago?
I started this 6 years ago.
6 years ago. Okay, so 6 years ago.
5 years ago. 5 years ago. It made 5 years the other day. Yeah, 5 years ago.
So 5 years ago, you said, man, I want this change. You call your cousin up, this lady that was swimming, try to get you into probably a MLM or Ponzi scheme. And, and that really triggered the conversation, right? So shout out to her, whoever she may be, because she triggered that conversation for you to have with your cousin. You go day 3, you see money, right? It's like, oh, this is real.
Yes.
Right? Now you've progressed up, right? So I did see somewhere for a little bit you were like the number 1 agent in, you said TMG. Is that a team, or what's TMG?
TMG is the region that we're in.
Got it. Okay.
Heritage. Because Lincoln Heritage is huge, but then you have your Florida, your Pennsylvania, your different areas. So TMG is the umbrella that we're under right now. And it has my cousin, the regional, another person that split up throughout Florida. So yes. So yeah, a couple last month or 2 months ago, I was number 1 in TMG. So TMG is huge. Okay. We have people from all over Pittsburgh, everywhere. But for Florida, for the past 5 years since I've been with them, I've been the number 1 agent in the state of Florida.
Well, so since you've started.
Since I've started. So
wow.
Since my first year with the business, I made 6 figures. First year. Okay. And what made me do that was writing goals down. Like I told you before, I was never big on writing goals at all. So my cousin told me, he was like, hey, you doing all right now. He said, you written down some goals? I'm like, nah. He said, where you want to get at for the year? I said, how much I'm at now? He's like, you at 40,000. I'm like, oh shoot, that's good. I was still halfway through the month. Okay. I was
Oh,
still
wow.
halfway through the month and I was at 40,000. I said, no, I'm saying halfway through the year and I was at 45,000. He
Okay.
said, what you want to get to? I said, if I can make 60,000, that'd be great. He was like, you got to aim higher than that. I'm like, what you mean? He said, at a pace you're going now, you
Okay.
can make over six figures. I
Oh,
said,
wow.
wow. I said, I don't think so. He had more faith in me than I had in myself.
Hmm.
So I went home, wrote some goals down. Like in my head, I was like, oh, I'm just doing it just to do it, right? So I wrote all these goals down. But thing is, what people don't realize, behind the goals you write, you have to have activity and you have to have action. You have to have that. If you don't put nothing into place of those goals that you wrote down, it's just only a dream. Your goal is just only a dream if you don't act towards those goals. So I said, hey, I'm gonna get this amount, get this amount, I'm gonna get this, and that. Do that, I'm gonna go see this amount of clients. I'm gonna order this amount of leads. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. When I started doing that, every day I kept looking at my goals. I'm like, every week I kept looking at my goals. I'm like, am I almost there? Okay, you know what? Yes, I crossed this. I did this. Okay, I'm on there. Then he called me. He said, you just made over 113,000 for the year.
Wow.
I said, what? Like that right there. And the thing is, I was doing it part-time. Part-time, I'm working the insurance business because I got my full-time job. Part-time, I'm doing this and I'm making over six figures. You know what's crazy, Mike? There's people doing this job right now, full-time, and they're not even making six figures. They're not. They're not even making 50,000.
What do you think the separation is between you and them?
That's the big step. That's the big question right there. The work ethics, that mindset that we talk. People always tell me all the time, what's that mindset? What's that mindset? I'm like, I never knew what it was until I joined this business. How hungry I am to get to a certain point. How, to me, like, this is a blessing. Like I get to do what I love to do and grind. The thing is, people, when they join an entrepreneurship, they their own boss. You make your work own hours, you make your work schedule. But the thing is, some people might go out today, make a sale, and take the rest of the day off and take the rest of the week off. Okay. When I make a sale, that's nothing. I have a goal. I say, hey, I want to hit over 50,000 this month. I want to do this month. So that first 3 sales, those 10 sales, those 20 sales is nothing to me because I'm not my goal yet at all. But once I hit those numbers, my mindset is, let me see how far I can go. Let me see how far I can go. And doing that made me successful. Other people, they'll try it out, get these nose, go get their hair done, go get their nails done, go do this, go do that. Just doing things outside of the way because they're not focused. When I'm out there grinding, I'm so focused on my numbers and what I want to hit, nothing can distract me. My wife knows, like, hey, I'm out there grinding. She handles everything at the house. She knows, hey, she'll check up on me. Hey, baby, how you doing? Just want to make sure you have a good day. Bang. She's not nagging. Where you at? Kids this, kids that. No. So at home helps a lot too. Setting that foundation at the house, making sure that everybody's getting fed, make sure everybody's good, that helps a lot. When people struggling, don't have money, and that makes a lot of problems. So I resolve those problems by taking care of my wife and then taking care of the kids. So that's what separates me from those other people that's not making over a certain amount of income.
So you speak about mindset now. So I guess my question now is, was that something like your cousin started to instill? Are you reading daily? Like, what are you doing to keep yourself sharp, right? Because I'm assuming now you're also probably managing people and you have a team and stuff. Like how do you stay sharp, and what initially got you into that piece?
I was never big on reading audio, listening to audios, listening to motivation, writing goals. Remember, I tell you, when I started writing those goals down and it worked, I wrote a yearly goal and I hit over 6 figures. Then I wrote goals down for the next year and I said, I want to hit over 150,000 and I hit over 170,000. I've noticed I didn't believe in writing goals, but I did it anyways. I didn't believe in listening to audiobooks. I said every month I need to listen to about 3 to 5 audios. I need to listen about, certain type of podcasts. I need to write goals down. I need to do this and that. It's been working every year. So that's what keeps me motivated. Why would I do something that's working and not do it? On the 31st or the 30th or the 1st of the month, I consistently write goals down. If I don't, I will stop whatever I'm doing and I have to do it before the month start. If I don't, I feel like I'm going to get in trouble. Be honest with you, I'm a grown man. Nobody's my boss. I feel like I'm going to get in trouble if I don't write these goals down. My month is not going to process the way it's supposed to process because I didn't write my goals down. I need some type of foundation, because when you're an entrepreneur, you don't have nobody over you saying, you need to do this, you need to do that. No, I have to have some type of structure for my month to go well. I have to have a certain number for me to hit so I can know where to aim to. Because if I don't have no GPS to lead me to the right direction, I'm going to just get distracted like everybody else. So every month I say, I got to listen to 3 motivational stuff. I got to listen to 2 podcasts. I have to write my goals down. I have to hit a certain amount. Every month I do those things faithfully. And that's what keeps me going, because I've seen the results. I've seen the time my first year, I made over 6 figures. I seen the second year, I made over 150. My third year, I hit over 200,000. I've seen those process every year because I've been doing the same thing all the time. And I will not stray away from it because it's working for me. Everybody has their own little niche. Some people, they need to write certain things. Some people have to do certain things. Some people have to, no. I do this faithfully. I get up at 4:30 in the morning, go work out, do my little meditation, do a little prayer here and there. I do all those things. I got to stay fit. I got to, eat a certain way. Faithfully, I do these things. And I don't complain. I just do it because it's been working for me all this time for the 6 years, 5 years. I got to find out how long I've been working with this company. 5 years. So for the 5 years I've been doing this, it's been working. So I've been consistent. There's a lot of people, I tell some people on my team, hey, write goals down. They'll write it and don't write it next month. Do this and that. That's consistency is a lot. Me having that makes things a lot easier for me. That's my structure. That's what I do. I write goals down faithfully and I put the work in for those goals. And that's what I do to keep myself a motivated boss man.
Yeah, I love that. It's funny because I hit the gym at 5 a.m. every morning myself, Monday through Friday.
Nice.
And I hold myself accountable. So I usually post like on Instagram, like, yo, I'm here, back in, the timestamp. And I've seen you do it on Facebook as well. And, one of my mentors, because I'm a big believer in mentors as well. And I'm sure, we'll get into that a little bit. But he said to me, you going to the gym and you going at that time when you can go at any other time, it forces you to do it. And it gives you a psychological advantage over the next person, because regardless of how much you make, versus how much they make, you can always look back and say, but you don't work as hard as me, but you're not grinding this much, but you're like, and it gives you that psychological advantage. And I saw that when I started going at 5, like I have people, and I'm sure people reach out to you, was like, yo, I don't know how you get up at 5 a.m. I don't know how you do it, right? Like you're doing this so consistently. And it's like, it's become a lifestyle. It's become normal for me just because that's just like my route. Like I know that, hey, no matter what time I go to sleep, I got to be in the gym at 5 a.m. It kind of like disrupts my day if I don't go, so to speak. So to hear that, to see that routine of whether it's writing your goals down, being in the gym, whatever that looks like, it seems like that sets your structure up, your foundation up, for success. And it's almost like you had it, you just needed to be led, like you said, in the right direction. And now that you found that direction of, the insurance space, what was meant for you ended up happening anyway, right? You just needed to be like guided in that right direction.
Yes.
So, I mean, I think that's absolutely amazing. So now, you're managing, I'm assuming, being the number one agent in the region for 5 years running now. Obviously, people reach out to you a lot. One of my friends, her name is Madeline Knowles. She just got married. Her husband is also a part of your agency. I cannot remember. Toronto, I think that's his name.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it was funny. I saw her post something about like some success he had, and I was like, "Yo, that's my boy Seth. I know." Like, I was like, I believe this is the same company, right?
Yep.
So
he's under our region too.
Yeah. So I'm sure a lot of people reach out to you, right? Just advice, what you're doing, the praises, whatever that looks like. For you now, having, some of these accolades, having some of these rewards, having, some of the fame within your space, so to speak, what are your goals now? Is it more so just continuing to, is it like a monetary thing for you? Is it like, what are you looking for, I guess, over the next, like, what's next, right? Being number one for a long time, it's easy to get complacent, I feel like, right? Like, you're doing it and you're like, it's, you said it's easy, right? And I don't want to say it's definitely simple for you, right? Like, you can almost do it in your sleep at this point. So what keeps you always trying to get to that next level? Is it someone that's a close second that motivates you? Is it, are you so far ahead where it's like, what keeps you striving for that next level, being at the top already?
It's family. It's family. That's just because now, like my parents, what they didn't have is, they have no financial advisor. They didn't have no, how can I say this? They didn't have no where to put their money. They didn't have no retirement plans. They didn't have none of that. So now I'm to the point, I listen to T. Harv Eker, Secrets of a Millionaire Mind.
Good book.
He teaches you how to break your money down. And I didn't think about that. Now I got my money in a Roth account. I got an IRA. I got it in all these other things that I'm investing in. So I know, hey, when I retire, my family's good. I can enjoy life and chill and relax. Hey, when my kids go to school, their school paid for. They don't have to struggle. They don't have to do nothing. Hey, I want to invest in other property. Hey, I want to do this. Hey, I want to have residual income coming in. I want to have all streams of income coming in for my family. So we can be like those people I envisioned back in the days, just chilling on a golf course, just doing this, just doing that. Things I never thought I'd do when I was younger because of the way the blueprint was set for me growing up. Now I'm changing that cycle around and I'm trying to get it to the point where, no, this is what it's supposed to be. Because in life, some people grow up into the world where, hey, their parents are entrepreneurs. Hey, they have this. Hey, they making over 6 figures. They making this. They setting up goals. They doing this, that. Now when that baby's growing up, making 30,000, 40,000 is a joke to them. Their mindset is bigger. Their mindset is, hey, I need to make over 6 figures. Hey, this is what I'm going to do. Having this plan. That's how I want to get it for my family, my kids. This is where, so what pushes me all the time to make more money? I'm making good money now, but as an entrepreneur, you can make unlimited. One year you can make 200, next year you can make 300. You control what you make. So I want to go ahead and invest things for my family, for the future. The future, I never thought about the future back in the days growing up. Like thinking about pension, thinking about retirement. No. Now that's all I'm thinking about. That's all I'm thinking about. I want to have property set to the side for my son and my daughter. As they get to know, they have residual income just coming to them. I want to have this. I want to have that. I'm in stocks now. I never thought I'd be in stocks at all. So what pushes me all the time is not the people that's in front of me. It's not the people that's catching up to me. I already have a goal set down for the month of where I want to get to. So if that person passed me, if Toronto beats me 1 month here and there, guess what? I'm happy that I got my goals. I'm happy that I did this. Oh, congratulations. Oh, you did a great job. What motivates me is my goals. Being that it's such a powerful thing when I'm able to scratch off that goal that I wrote down and say I completed it. That right there is powerful. It's something about the pen scratching off the goals and saying, yes, I did it. That is what pushes me the most to go to the next step.
Now that makes sense, and definitely something, I that is something where I am not as consistent at, is writing down weekly or monthly goals, right? I can have a big year goal, but I think that's definitely a gem that everyone should definitely tap into. I have 2 more questions. My first one.
Hold on, before you get into it, you said something, before I forget, you said something about the gym, being there at 4:30, being there at 5 o'clock. When I do that every morning, I'm already winning the day. I'm already, those other percent that's at home sleeping, I'm up, getting that workout in. I'm ahead of the game. I'm setting up my day, setting up my schedule, and not just waking up, rolling over like, oh man, I got to set this up. No, I'm already winning the day. So when you said you at that gym at that time, that's what my mindset is at. Like, I'm beating a lot of people right now. And sometimes I'm at my CrossFit gym and I'm the only person there doing the workout for the day, because everybody else kept pushing snooze on that alarm clock. When I'm there and I'm by myself, I'm just like more pumped up. I'm saying, it's just me and the instructor. He's just training, telling me what to do. But I'm like, hey, guess what? Everybody else sleeping in their bed. So yeah.
No, that's huge, man. I think that literally was a game changer for me. And I never thought about it because I was never a gym person. I was always pretty small. So me and the gym, I just never went to the gym. And as soon as I took that on and I started gaining weight, I started adding muscle, and I started doing it consistently. And I started seeing that what became a normal to me wasn't normal to other people. I was like, man, I'm onto something, right? It gives me that advantage. So in with that being said, because I know this was something I had to learn as well, you right out the gate, in your first year made 6 figures from your part-time job. Yeah. How was it managing for you at the time money? Right. And I think and the reason why I asked that is because I think for the financial blueprint is interesting. Back in college, I took out loans. So you're familiar, you got the net check, all that other.
Yeah.
And I used to get my net check and I wasn't used to seeing 2,000, 3,000 in my account. Right. So I would do stuff. I remember buying like a ping pong table or going to University Mall and, shopping and, because in my head, like I was never used to seeing a comma. And, I never had thousands of dollars ever in my bank account. I worked at, in high school, I worked at Wendy's. I made $6.25 an hour, got like $200 every 2 weeks, So for me seeing, 2,000, 3,000, it was like, whoa. Right. So there's a big jump from never making 6 figures to making 6 figures on your side business. So you probably at least tripled your income that year. Right. What was that like? Right. Because what was the adjustment like?
Oh, you just hit something on the head. Oh my gosh, brother. If I can go back to when I first started those first 2 years, and I was making, so remember I was doing other part-time jobs too. I was the defensive tactic instructor, I'm saying, going to different facilities, programs, teaching them how to train and stuff. So I was making like $30,000 from that too. So I was making 30 from that. I was making 6 figures with the fire station. With the insurance. I was making 50,000 with the fire station. So I've never seen that much amount of money a day in my life, right? I'm seeing $20,000 a month, right? So guess what I do? I spend buying Range Rovers, buying Mercedes, buying this, buying that, putting some things in the house. spending money on trips, spending break on this. I'm just spending. And I'm like, wow, this is the life. I'm like, yeah. Oh, but guess what? There was nothing in my savings account. My saving account was not where it was supposed to be at all. Like, we spent over $100,000 just on whatever on we spent over $100,000 in 6 months just on everything. Wow. We didn't invest our money. We didn't set up no accounts. We didn't set up no savings. We didn't put money in stocks. So it was a huge adjustment for me the middle of the month because what happened was I looked in our savings and I got a financial advisor. She's like, hey, okay. So she looking at everything. She's like, how much you got in your savings? I'm like, oh, we got $5,000. Whoa, you making this, that, and you only got $5,000 in your account? Then I was thinking like, oh, shoot. If we would have had some type of issue where somebody would have passed away, yeah, we have life insurance. Say we didn't have life insurance. Let me say my family member would have passed away and they needed $10,000. I wouldn't be able to help them at all. If something serious was to happen, I wouldn't be able to help ourselves. We're making over $200,000 and there's nothing in our savings. So it was a huge adjustment, man. Like, it was bad because we never seen that type of money. So guess what? We want to go spend here and there. Like you said, you brought a ping pong table. Yeah. I'm buying cars and this and that. Like, just because I wanted to fit in that lifestyle. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to do what they doing, this and that. But I'm doing that. But now I'm being smart about it. Like, half of my money that I make goes into my investments. Half of the money I make now goes into the investment. Every time I get a raise with the fire department, goes into the investment. I never see a raise because I always put it into the investment, something that's going to grow over a period of time. So now my mindset is not big. I still got the cars. I still love those. But it's not big on a lot of materialistic things. It's big on things that would bring value to us and things that would have the kids, going on trips. Like, hey, I want my kids to be like, when I was growing up, I've been in like 20, 30 different states or whatever. When I was growing up, I only been in Florida my whole life. When I was growing up, I ain't have no Jordans. I always wanted them because other kids had it. I didn't have this. Me and my sister, we had to wear the same size shoes because we didn't have that much. So then my son, he grew up, first pair of Jordans the first day. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm just trying to change that path around and make it different for him. Now he wears all brand clothes here and there. But it's just, I just wanted to get out that cycle. Because when you're in that cycle, you get picked on at school. I got picked on because I used to wear bows. My shoes used to be talking, you this and that. I didn't want that for my son growing up. My mindset was like, man, he needs to see what hard times about. That's what my mindset was about. But in the back of my head, I'm like, no, that was a tough time for me in school. Tough time. So now he's one of the kids. He got Jordans, he got bronze, he got this and that because of the way I'm setting up things for him. So now his mindset growing up now, he's out there cutting people's yard, cutting this, cutting that. So he's like, man, I make $20 for 30 minutes. I'm at this job making $10 an hour. So like, he's seeing the difference now. Like, so I do this all for my family, all for the family. This is the big thing. Family is so important. This is the reason why I grind hard the way I grind. My daughter, throughout the month, I said, hey, daddy got to win this month. She said, hey, daddy, are you winning right now? Are you winning right now? Daddy, did you win? Daddy, how did you do today when you went out? She's 4 years old. Nice. How did you do today, daddy? Did you win? So seeing that, man, like, oh, bro, I got to kick some butt this month. Yeah. Because I got people watching me. I got people watching me. My daughter, when she does her gymnastics thing, she tries to be the best. And when she messes up, she cries, and like, daddy, I didn't get this. I didn't get that. I wasn't first or this and that. And she's 4 years old, man. Yeah. Just because she see me always winning. She's like, I want a trophy like that. I want to get this and that. And that's what I'm trying to put in my kids' heads so much. Like, hey, daddy got you. Hey, daddy's successful. You're not going to always win at everything. But guess what? As long as you aim high, you will get on top. As long as you aim high, you will get on top. There's some months I lost. There's a couple months I lost in the business, but my daughter's like, are you going to win next month? You know what I'm saying? Like little things like that is what I try to aim for because they everything to me. I want them to be like, that's my dad.
Yeah, brother. No, I love it, man. And it's, I definitely want to bring up that that money piece, right? Because everyone has this financial blueprint, and I sold. I think I told you offline. I sold insurance for like a year. And I was an underwriter for I think it was like 12 different companies under this. It's called like National Agents Alliance. But I'm saying that because there was two things that I learned. And that really got me into, the insurance space got me into personal development. The first thing I learned, what the guy said to me, he said, and he was, one of the top, he had one of the top earners and the biggest like group. And he said, being broke in America is like starving in a grocery store. That was the first thing he said to me. And I was like, man, which he was just saying like, yo, if you're losing here, right? He was like, it's your own fault. There's opportunity everywhere, which was what he was trying to convey. The second thing he said to me that really held on and what really stood out was, he was like, if your mind isn't where it's supposed to be, no matter how much money you see, you'll always get back to where you're comfortable at. Right.
Yeah. That's deep.
Which was why I, when I saw that money, again, $2,000-$3,000, I was like, man, I have to get rid of it. And which is the same issue with you, right?
Yeah.
The only reason why you probably had around $5,000 in your savings anyway from before you made that money, right? Maybe a little less or whatever, but within the stretch. But the fact that you tripled, doubled your money and you had the same thing, that was what you were comfortable seeing. That's what you knew. So because you didn't have that shift yet, the only thing that made sense for you was to get rid of that so you can get back to what feels comfortable to you for what you could see.
Wow.
And that was like, I was like, oh, that makes sense, right? So, I like to ask people because that, again, the same thing. When I first saw my, first 5-figure month, I was like, oh, snap, I made 5 figures this month, right? Like, it's crazy,
nice.
And then when I did it, when I was fortunate to do it, another time, and again, I started to get comfortable seeing that money, right? So I could put it away, I could save it, I can invest, I could start to do a couple of different things that, felt, I didn't have the urge like, man, I got to get rid of this, man, because I'm not used to, like, it doesn't feel normal for it to be here. It was like a surreal experience, which is ultimately what you thought, which makes sense considering, you worked hard, you made, you was under 100K, between both your jobs at the time. And for you to just double that, more than double that with all this extra money, it's like it made sense why you spent it. So I was curious to see that shift and how it shifted, as you start to get comfortable in that, and as it started to become normal. Because like you said, it was probably surreal for you for the first little bit, right?
Literally.
So no, that's interesting. All right, and I want to ask, right, because I don't want to hold up too much of your time. I know you're a grinder.
Okay.
So not, and you're still currently a full-time firefighter.
Yes, sir.
And how is that? And how is that experience, knowing that, again, obviously there's benefits, working for the city, like what is that space like? Is it like, how do you treat that job, I should say? And I'm not saying you treat it less than, but just knowing that you have all these other things going on, you're setting your goals. Do you set like similar goals in the fire department? Like, I don't know what that looks like. What does that look like for you in that space?
I treat both the same. I'm always trying to be the best. We do competition for the fire department as well too, like CrossFit challenges, firefighter combats. I'm in all those competitions because it's something that I aim for. It's a goal too as well too. I aim to be one of the best firefighters. Now I just got a promotion to be the driver engineer, the engineer guy, the person that drives the truck. So when I was a firefighter, regular firefighter is the person in the back seat. When the time comes, he pull the hose out, do that work. The engineer position is the person that pumps the water, give you a certain amount of water to put out the fire, this and that. So it's a little bit more complicated. You got more responsibilities. So my goal as a firefighter, I completed those goals. I did all my classes, did everything I need to do to be a great firefighter. So now I'm an engineer. I have a lot of goals I want to complete. And my mindset, I feel like I'm a new person at the job. Even though I've been there for 6 years, 7 years, one of those. I feel like I'm a new person at the job because of the role that I'm in. So now that role I'm in, I'm trying to be the best at that position. There's other engineers at the stations here and there, but I'm trying to be the best. I'm trying to take all these classes. I'm trying to learn this and that. I'm trying to think outside of the box. I'm trying to do training so I can be the best at that position. The firefighter job, I love it. I'm very passionate about it. People saying, why you don't leave the fire department? If you leave the fire department, those days you're there, you could be making more money doing the insurance business. But it's not about that for me. What it's about for me is what makes me happy. Mm-hmm. What makes me happy. Being out there saving lives, helping people, this and that brings a little, whew, like I need that. Okay. If I being an insurance agent is great, but I always need that other side to remember. I've been growing up working 3 to 4 jobs. So I always feel like I need that other piece. And being a firefighter, it's a career, it's a hobby to me. It's a lot. So having that other side is what, to me, I think is what made me do good in the insurance business too. Because I have this side I love and I have this side I love. When I bring both of them together, to me, it makes me be successful in all areas. Mm-hmm. I challenge myself. I write goals down for the fire department, and I treat it just like the insurance business, but in other different ways.
Absolutely.
When there's competitions coming up, I'm training, so I can be the best in that competition. But yeah, I treat it both the same.
Yeah, they say how you do one thing is how you do everything, right?
Yes.
So and that, that's definitely a testament to what that looks like, man. Oh man, it was I appreciate it. I'm sure the audience that that's listening will, but man, I appreciate you taking the time, man, and just kind of going through your journey, because it's an unprecedented journey, and it shows just where it started. Like your foundation, you use your foundation of hard work to make it work for you.
Yes.
Right. And I think that's an unbelievable story, man. As well as your, 2 amazing kids and your beautiful wife, and, really just, what drives you, to continue to just go after these goals.
Exactly.
And those key takeaways. So that's great, man. Is there any 2 things I always go through? Definitely, I want you to know where people can find you in case they want to reach out to you, as well as, any last words.
Just go out there and be great, man. Push yourself there's no limit. Just if you want to be great, you want to be successful, just keep trying, keep aiming for those things, keep looking for those things, try to get around the right people. When I was younger, I've been trying to aim and find this perfect opportunity so I can make the money I want to make. If you just stop and say, you know what, I'm just doing 9 to 5 and that's it, then you're going to be stuck in that situation. Keep grinding, keep trying to find what other people are doing, keep looking, keep seeking, and eventually you'll get to the top.
Love it. And where can people find you? I don't know, Facebook, Instagram, in case they want to reach.
All I do is Facebook, said Remy. That's all I do.
Got it. Said Remy. All right, cool. So I will, again, and once this goes up, I'll have all your contact there, man. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it, brother.
For everything. I appreciate. This was a phenomenal interview. Anyway, guys, again, we have Said Remy here. Definitely check him out. And as per usual, I love you.